internationals to have that, because last week we had to, and we didn't discuss it last week. Any tennis last week, any football tennis, not even international football. We stopped on last week.
I appreciate that, Lobby, and we will explore areas where we can look at the
No,
international sports. But the most important area for us is local activities, and we have so many local activities taking place.
no,
But
but
as we go
but
to the different areas, Lobby, we
I
will deal
agree with
with
you, Landa.
international.
But
Yeah.
remember, when we were growing up, we were not fortunate to view international sports on television to assist us. So it's very important we highlight these things. The youngsters can look out for the sports.
Yes, I appreciate that point, Lobby. I appreciate that point, and we'll see how we
Yeah.
incorporate it to the best of our ability. But
Uh,
what I would want us to do more and more is promote what is our own
No,
and
but
recognize what is our own, our local active. And we have so
no,
much
but the
local
own has
activity
been
happening.
always been there. And we look at international sports to assist us. Yeah, very important to look at that. Yeah, the own has been always there, but through the own can only improve by looking at the best.
Yes, but if you don't recognize what you have, Lobby, and you don't promote what you have, how are we going to
No,
get
but we
the
we are
best?
we are doing that, but at the same time, these two we have to merge two of them at all times. Yeah, at all time we have to merge them.
But you've got to, given the limited time, you need to focus on certain areas. You can talk about, we get international sports on the television, on the
No, no,
radio, all over,
I
but
think
there's a
we
lot of
we
local
we
sports that we
no
are
we
not promoting.
no we have to talk about it here, but people have to talk about international sports. We have to. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Mr. Fountain will join us in a while. Um, but the first area we just want to talk about very briefly, is the summit that's coming up. We always have social issues to deal with, but tonight, because of our PAC program, and as Mr. Loblack said, he wants to deal with certain international sports, we'll be very limited in that area. Uh, the summit is coming up, and I think it's very important, very important, that we have those regular domestic economic summits where we can bring together our skilled persons to discuss and present recommendations for going forward in Dominica. It's very important that we do that on a regular basis. I remember in a previous world, when I was director of industry at the NDC in 1998, we had a tourism development conference and we brought together tourism stakeholders and we were able to educate them and develop them. And coming out of that conference, there was an evolution of two major tourism projects: a hotel plan project that was financed by the CBI on a loan basis, and there was a chamber project. And these two were two very important projects for us in Dominica. So I would want us to continue developing and promoting the discussion around development in Dominica, especially in the growth sectors. So I want to commend the organizers of the upcoming program, and we're going to try to get Mr. Fountain to tell us some of the focal areas of the upcoming summit. Lobby, do you have any comments?
No, no. When Fountain comes to give us to hear exactly, what is the agenda, the program is like, and what in terms of the how much support you have received so far.
Yeah. Yeah, because this is it is very important. Mr. Thompson Fontaine is in transit. He's on his way down from Pocase. So we're going to attempt to get him by telephone so he can make that contribution. Because we've got a number of areas, a number of very important areas we'd like to discuss tonight on the Sports Wrap program. And we want to continue maintaining the very high standard of the Sports Wrap program. It's important, also very important, that the Ministry of Tourism look at the framework of sports tourism, be it domestic sports tourism, where we have programs going on in different areas, be it basketball, be it football, and how we move people around to entertain themselves in that area, or when our persons are going out to participate in various sports programs, what literature do they have to promote Dominica? And more importantly, More importantly, how we could position ourselves in Dominica to have sports program happening in Dominica. Mr. Fontaine is on the line, so Mr. Fontaine is going to give us the core areas, the focal areas of the upcoming economic summit. Good night, Mr. Thompson Fontaine.
Yes, Ron, a very good evening to you and to Lambi and to all your listeners. Indeed, the Economic Revival Summit is on its way. It's just a couple of weeks now, a couple of weeks from today. We'll be focusing on some of the key areas of growth, areas that we consider we can tap into. For example, we'll be looking at the agriculture sector. We'll be looking at tourism. We'll also be focusing on the blue economy, our water resources, how we can use those resources to help build our country. Of course, the information technology sector is also very, very big in that plan. And you should never forget sports, another big area that we believe that we can make work in particular for our young people. And of course, there is the entertainment, music and entertainment, again, focused at our young people. So, these are some of the key areas that we'll be focused on. And we'll also be looking at transportation and logistics, how we can move our produce, how we can improve our port system and so on. And, so we are bringing in experts on those different areas in their particular field. So we have experts in agriculture, in the tourism sector, in the storage industry, that we can have a conversation around. But more importantly, we have asked those experts to focus on how Dominica, given our size, given our peculiarities, how we can in fact benefit best from those various sectors. So it's a very exciting time. We encourage persons to register. The registration slots are filling up very, very quickly. We are going to cap it off at 100. We are approaching that number very quickly. So we would like to encourage persons who really want to be a part to register. You can register online by going to va-econsummit.com. That's va-econsummit.com. Or you can call our local office and register. All right. So these are the ways that people can register for the economic conference and focus on those particular areas.
Thompson, can you speak about some of the local experts or the regional experts or international experts who will be participating in the seminar, who will be making contributions to the seminar?
Yes, sure. For example, in agriculture, we are tapping into one of our brightest in that area, Errol Emmanuel, who for many, many years, he worked in that area, in that particular sector here in Dominica. So he brings a wealth of practical experience in agriculture. We'll also be tapping into the expertise of Dr. Dave Lloyd, who is an expert in soils and who understands agriculture from a more theoretical standpoint, but has also worked here in Dominica and understands the way the economy works. In terms of renewable energy, we'll be bringing in, from the diaspora, we'll be bringing in Mr. Dexter Newton. Dexter is currently on assignment with the U.S. Department of Energy. He has been put in charge of an energy project, a renewable energy project for the U.S. government. So that is something that he's doing practically for the United States. And the fact that he's doing it for the United States, we believe he can do it here for us in Dominica. So he will be focused on that area. In the transportation and logistics, we have one of the foremost experts now in the Caribbean. He is the port manager of the Antigua Port Authority. That is Dominica's very own Darwin Kellyman, who will be focused on the transportation and so on in that particular area. Then obviously in the sports area as well, we have experts there that'll be talking to us in that particular area. We'll be bringing in our very own Clement Marsland, who is the president of the Cricket Authority, but who also has some very good thoughts and some very good insights on the general area of sport and how sport can be developed and work to benefit the country. In terms of manufacturing, we have John Robin, who for many, many years has been involved with Central Seaport. So again, a very practical aspect, how we can do better in terms of agro processing. In the area of knowledge industry. We are bringing in another Dominican expert who is a cybersecurity expert, but he also is working in the area of information technology, and he has a very good grasp of how we can benefit. Dominic can benefit from that particular area. He's based in the United States, but he's coming all the way from the United States to be there with us. So he'll be physically with us in Dominica, coming out from the diaspora. That's Mr. Winsbert Latai out of the northern village of Ben. So we have a whole range of experts running those different areas that will be bringing their expertise to bear for us. And in addition to that, in the construction sector, we'll be delving into the expertise of Delbert Paris, another local expert, and one that we can actually draw upon. So we have several, practical, persons who are working in those areas and who can bring the best in terms of help to lead and guide those discussions that we plan to have on the FIFA and the state.
You didn't speak about the tourism sector. Will that area be focused on too?
Yes, the tourism sector is in focus. The reason why I did not mention it is because we are still finalizing the speakers in those areas. We have not been able to finalize the speakers. We have been in discussions with 2 or 3 individuals. So as soon as we have that finalized, I'll be able to let the public know. But definitely the tourism sector ranks very highly, and it will be part of those discussions.
Okay. And you're satisfied so far with all the planning, all the work, the preliminary work that has to be done to make sure that you have a successful seminar, workshop, conference?
Yes, absolutely. We are very much satisfied with the way it is going, very satisfied with the response from the public so far. A lot of people are showing interest. As I said, there are people even coming from overseas, and they are coming from overseas to help us in that process and so on, our local counterparts. So it's a very exciting time. It's a great time, but importantly, we want people to register. We don't want people to just come because we have to plan around it. So don't just say you will get up on the top and on the feet and just show up. Okay, you need to be registered. You have to do it in an orderly fashion because we have to cater for persons who are coming in beforehand. So we need to know the exact numbers. So if you're interested in coming, be sure to register to be a part of this great event.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Fontaine. We expect to see you very soon in the studio.
I'll be with you shortly, yes.
All right. Let's take an advert now before we go to our first sport contributor.
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all confess. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What they say. Shop at SCS. SCS family, customer friendly. With 3 locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madame Biscuit, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, Nan, and cousin, friend, Pope, Power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, Pope, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Roseau.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
It's on its way. The United Municipality Team Dominica, the Electoral Reform Coalition, is launching the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit 2024 under the theme Planning for Sustainable Growth and Development, taking place June 4th to the 6th at the Jungle Bay Resort and Spa. Sufria is on its way. Present will be key stakeholders, government officials, business leaders, and experts in various fields in Dominica to engage in creating a master plan to serve as a roadmap to Dominica's future development. Healthy talk, lively debate in agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, agribusiness, renewable energy, construction, and the blue and green economy. It's on its way June 4th to the 6th. You don't want to miss the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit, which will begin on June 4th, the 4th until the 6th, where 9 outstanding Dominicans will be honored and awarded at the grand opening dinner and award ceremony on Tuesday, 4th June. $250. This will be followed by Dominica Economic Revival Summit on Wednesday and Thursday, 5th and 6th, from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Secure dinner tickets in person with Mr. Nicholas George at 285-5585. Seats at this economic revival will be limited, so don't delay. Now it's time to restart, kickstart, and jumpstart Dominica's economy. Restore and rescue Dominica's economy.
By Dr. Thompson Fontaine, we go to our first area, our first spotting area, where we've got Donnie Robinson to give us information on local basketball and international basketball. Donnie Robinson, good night. One of the other areas I would want to emphasize is the contribution that's been made by our sponsors, our commercial sponsors. ACS, Julius Timothy, we appreciate that tremendously. And Rudolph Thomas and Sons, we appreciate that. You had a daughter who used to be with us at UE. What's her name? Chandler Thomas at UE first. We used to work very well with us at UE when we went to UE she's from Portsmouth and she was at UE with us. And the most important thing is that anytime we had independence celebration, we got all our stuff coming from Portsmouth on the boat. So we appreciate that, Mr. Thomas, for the contribution that you're making to the Sport Track program, and also Mr. Julius Timothy of ACS. Mr. Donnie Robinson, good night, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thanks for having me again.
Pleasure, Donnie.
Okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown on where we are on the National League. Normal, what has taken place in the past week, and the standings so far. Last week, nothing much changed too much in the standings. The winning teams continue to dominate in the Premier Division. We have the Blazers at 4-0 at the top of the standings. We have the Dr. Darrow Falcons at 3-0. They played one less game. And past that, the other teams are the 767 Dominators at 2-2 and the BA Sharks at 2-1. Below that, we have the Police Sports Club, who have lost 4 games, and the Paybush Eagles, who have lost 2 games. So the standing in the league really has not changed that much, but this week that should maybe take a turn for different, because we have some interesting games. We have the Dominators playing the Blazers, which is the 1-3 team playing, and Dr. Darrow Falcons are playing the X-Men, Lindomat X-Men this week as well. So we might have some changes to understanding in the Premier Division.
Yeah, so what about the quality of play? What are you seeing so far about the quality of play?
Like I said, I think as the league progresses, you can see the increment in the incremental effort and also in the results of the overall level of basketball. I guess as teams get more familiar with each other and people are playing more, guys are getting in better shape or basketball shape. So the level of play in the past month or so have increased, and we can see the games are getting a lot more competitive as the league progresses.
The crowd support, how has it been going so far? The crowd support.
I think it can still be better, but when you have the teams that the more elite teams, they definitely garner some really good crowd support. Like the BA Sharks, the Blazers, the Bicester Falcons, and so forth. They really, the crowds are healthy. What we want to see is the crowds being healthy for most of the games, but I guess that comes with winning and popularity as well. So hopefully it can continue.
Okay, Sportstrap would want to encourage persons to go out to support the sports program in basketball. That's a healthy, high quality of sports. And the most important thing we're doing here is supporting our young people in positive social activities. We spoke about a negative social activity some time ago, which we said we should support in terms of nasty business. But that high quality of sports that we're seeing in Dominica, we need to go out there and give optimal support to our young people as they exhibit high level of talents. The next area we want to go on is the NBA, your favorite area.
Before you move to the NBA, hello. Before you move to the NBA, Donny, what any movement in terms of getting game in the hard court in the Windsor Park?
Well, in the past week, no, but we still have our games for the second round scheduled for Windsor Park, and we're hoping in the next coming weeks here we can get some positive word. But from the last time we spoke, we don't have any movement on that yet.
So I understood that the team from Roseau, where the team is practicing?
I'm not sure. I think those guys practice in Bath Road sometimes, and some of them get access to the courts in Massac. But yeah, there's one team based in town. I'm pretty sure Windsor Park would provide a boost to the practice.
I know this is just very sad, very, 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 very sad with basketball, where it is especially in Roseau. That was the place. The days of the Windsor Park, you had total access 24/7. You could have been in the park. That raised the standard of basketball, and it is very, very sad.
I agree. Because an extra court in town can only help. That's for sure.
Yes, Donny, it's good to have you. And yeah, we're talking about we're going to move to the NBA, and in the conference finals, what's your take? What's your take on the initial two games that we've seen?
Why, I tell you, I'm not surprised Boston won the first game. Like I said last week, I think Pacers would provide a lot more of a challenge for Boston. But I was disappointed that Pacers actually let that game slip away. I mean, they were up by 5 with a few seconds to go and lost that game in overtime. I think tonight the Pacers will come out and I would not be surprised that series gets tied up and that series goes to 6 or 7 games. I still give Boston the edge, especially with Porzingis coming back, projected to come back after Game 4. So the longer the series go, I think it only works better for Boston. But you can see the parity in the teams in the East. The parity is there. I think the power is in the West, but the parity is more in the East, and the playoffs showing that.
Yes, indeed. The Mavericks and the Timberwolves.
Yes, for the Mavericks and the Timberwolves, I was a little surprised that the Mavericks actually won. I have the Timberwolves in 6, but I didn't expect them to win the first game. And the momentum that these guys came from the Nuggets series with, I was expecting them to carry that over. But then again, you're playing against professionals that have been rested for a week, so that might have been the backcourt of the Dallas Mavericks maybe is the best we've seen offensively in a long time in the NBA. Maybe have to go back to Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumas and maybe the Warriors with the Splash Brothers. But these two guys can literally take a game over, and we saw it last night. So I expect that series as well to be a long one, 6 or 7. But I still pick the Timberwolves to win because of their defense.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with you. Donny, first of all, we're looking back at the Nuggets defeat. First time Nuggets experienced the level of defense the level of hustle. And that's the game of basketball. With good defense, good offense, you're going to be victorious. And I think the both finals, I suspect the both finals, both the West and the East, I see game sevens.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all if both of them go to seven. I still have the Timberwolves and Celtics in the finals, but it'll be tough.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah. But you know that's the advent of the NBA now, with teams having 3 superstars each. 2 and 3 superstars. In the days when there's one superstar, you could pick a team that would dominate. But now parity is the key.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's what it is. I think that's the key there. You hit it right on the head. Disparity. The teams seem to be equally balanced. I mean, 105 to 108 and 133 to 128. So it means that they're going, toe to toe, shot for shot. And it's really anybody's game.
Yeah. And what has happened in the NBA also presently, Donnie, you agree that the advent of this 3-point shooting now, you have a lot of guys who can hit from the outside.
Yeah.
And that can cause a lot of problems for teams.
Exactly. You look at Boston game; they came back with a 3-point shot, and Boston. 3-point shooting. It's everybody now is a 3-point shooter in the league. Before it was 2 or 3 people in a conference that would stand out as a 3-point shooter. Now it's 2 or 3 people on a team. So
because what I find, Donnie, with Pacers, that first game. You look at Celtic, they have this high screen. They have a high screen constantly. All right. And even at game 1, Pacers allowed the game to slip from their hand, and the end there be that screening. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
That 3 useless turnovers in the game there, useless turnovers that no right to happen. That's all Celtic. You look at Celtic, that high screen and roll, driving, dish out. That's their game.
I mean, if you have upwards of 24 turnovers, a team like Celtics, you're going to lose.
And secondly, Donnie, I find first of all there were some calls that Pacers. I mean, just imagine Pacers went to there are some calls at the end there. I was shocked, very, very shocked that Pacers did not get.
If you notice, those referees try to stay away from deciding the game these days.
No, I told myself they were in for 7 games.
They all being very cautious, So I wouldn't be surprised if it continue that way. Those guys it's going to be a physical series. It's going to be a long.
I know it's going to be physical.
When Porzingis gets back, Celtics will dominate. I think he will show a big edge. They beat it on the inside. So let's see how that goes.
Donnie, you made a critical point there that before it used to be a one-man leader. Now there are 2 free persons on each of the team. Notwithstanding, you still see that each of the teams, beat Celtics, you got Tatum and Brown, Pacers, Siakam, and Halliburton. When you come for T-Wolves, Anthony Edwards and McDaniels, and Mavericks, Doncic, and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is still very there. This season's going to belong to whom? I like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is showing some special talent. Do you think this season is going to belong to Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves?
Yeah, I think so. I still believe defense will win this tournament because
defense.
Nuggets was one of the more dominant offensive teams, and when they saw the Timberwolves, it was totally different. I mean, they have bodies to throw at you. They have a few teams with 3 big men that can play good defense, and on top of that, they have a very offensive big man in Anthony Towns.
True.
So they are different makeup, as compared to the typical team. Pacers is a fast, agile team with a few defensive players as well. But I can see the Timberwolves and Celtics battling it out, and Timberwolves just pounding them, outmanning them because of their size and their makeup. And then they have a good young leader as well. Edwards is not easy. He doesn't back down. I mean,
he's fearless.
To Kyrie Irving of all people. So
he's fearless.
It's not easy.
Donnie, thank you very much for your high quality contribution. We are looking forward next week to an equally high quality contribution from you. Thank you very much, Donnie.
Anytime.
And you must put a guest appearance sometime in the studio.
I will leave I don't want the viewers to be distracted by Lobby and I. So
Thank you very much, Donny.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot.
that. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. All right. But you see, gentlemen, you see the problem I have in my city, Roseau, that up to now, you have a hard cut, Fountain, it's amazing.
Mm.
You have a hard cut there and it's not available. It's making no sense at all, yeah? Absolutely no sense at all.
Louis, that's a valid point because when we were growing up, the center of basketball used to be Windsor Park.
Well,
You were very good. You were a very good defensive basketballer,
boy, man, that's my
You were
game.
good on
Play
the
my
attack.
years. Boy,
But on
man,
the
man.
defense, Lobby, you were very
Uh,
good. Fellas couldn't pass you like that on the defense.
But
You know?
that's the game of basketball. And
And
I started
now,
playing I started
because
playing basketball since it started in the St. Mary's Academy. And then moved when it became popular to the Windsor Park. And that was it. It took root from there. And I mean, it's something else. I mean, you cannot have. And the blunder, I think, that was made also. You end up putting a tennis court there to me, not making any sense at all. All right? There's never be a tennis court inside there. Nobody has been used it as yet. You should leave it for basketball, netball, volleyball. I just find to myself, it's just something else, man. I don't know. What's the problem?
Lobby, I've got a colleague here with me. He's got a PhD economics. I've got a master's. And one of the fundamental problems we have in Dominica is economic planning, integrated development planning. So we do things by without planning, without programming, and deciding where we would like to be in 5 years' time. Where we want to be in 10 years' time.
But you need some common sense
errors
too, yeah?
and errors over and over again. So what do you have to say
No,
about that?
I'm with you on that, Ron. That is one of our major problems, the lack of planning. And if you don't plan, you're actually cementing your failure. That's what it is, and it's very unfortunate because all of those things should not be happening. There should be a well thought out strategy in terms of what is going where, who are your target audience, what you hope to achieve in which of those fields, but we have not seen that, unfortunately.
Lobby, you speak about basketball at the Windsor Park. What a very important economic activity we could have in the Windsor Park to stimulate activity all over Roseau, the T20, the T20 World Cup.
But
we have lost out on that.
But not only that, even look at the Windsor Park itself. You know how many people send their children to school by selling pistache and ice pop in those days? You had the economic activity right there,
Yes.
I'm telling you. I mean, see, that to me is something else. That to me is just a disaster, Ronald.
But the unfortunate thing, it does not stop at the T20. All of these other games,
Yeah.
South Africa is in the West Indies. Bangladesh is going to be there as well, and we're not going to get any of those games, Emmanuel.
Plus, you have other test matches coming up again after that. The T20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Cricket.
So, and not a lot of cricket, towards the end of the year, and we're not going to see any of this, which is really, really unfortunate because Dominica, over the past 5 to 10 years, Dominica has become the premier sporting destination as far as fans, as far as the support for the game, and that's the reason why the West Indies Cricket Board were willing to bend over backwards to accommodate Dominica, because the kind of crowds that they've seen in Dominica, they have not really seen any of the other islands that are 4 or 5 times the size of Dominica. So
because we had what 3 games carried for Dominica, 3 games.
Yeah. They were prepared to give us, So indeed, unfortunate.
The next important contributor that we have to the program tonight, we try to maintain a high quality program on Sports Wrap. And the next important contributor we have with us tonight is Ron Charles to update us on cycling.
But let's ask him, why is he smiling so much? You're in Brazil, right? That is.
I'm wondering whether the esteemed gentleman and panel could hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, and we're seeing that grin on your face. So
no.
We're assuming that the cycling event is going very well in Brazil.
Sure.
Yes,
but just before I do this, let me again thank the host for inviting me here tonight. But more importantly, let me again acknowledge, and on this side of the fence, but let me acknowledge our political leader, although he's there in a different capacity. But I'm happy that you're home. And I know that you have a lot of important things that you're gonna do. So nice to see you.
Same here, same here.
All right,
Good
and
to
I
see you,
want to
bro.
thank you, Mr. Lander, and of course, Mr. Loblack for inviting me. And yes, a lot of cycling is happening in Brazil.
As usual.
Yes, and let me say that the Pan American Championships is on, and as you may be aware, we have one representative, Mr. Coaf Baron, who will be representing Dominica tomorrow, and that is, God's willing, on the 24th of May 2024. The race starts at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Road race?
Yes, the road race. He did not do the time trial.
Distance?
Yeah, it will be 100 miles.
Whoa.
And he did not do the time trial. As you know, he doesn't have a time trial bike. So we will only be doing the road race.
Road race, 100 miles. That's going back and forth to Portsmouth 4 times, huh?
Well, yes. And you're talking about the speed too that they will be riding at. It is something that I'm looking forward to experience. I know Mr. Barron has put in the hours for training, and I'm wishing him all the best tomorrow. The good books say that you put in the training, and Mr. Loblack maybe will articulate that better than me. You put in the training, you do the hard work, and on the day itself, you wait and see.
So tell us about the course itself, Ronald. Is it largely hills or largely flat?
That's a very good question. There is, you see, like in Dominica, we have a hill that we all know, Mon Espanol. Think of Mon Espanol like it is not in terms of the gradient. It's not as steep, but the distance. That you would have you're wondering whether or not, and it's not that steep, huh? Don't get me wrong. But think of Mon Espanol.
So Mon Espanol is probably like 15 degrees. It's probably like a 10 degrees or something like that, yeah?
Well, no, meaning that it is not as steep.
As steep, yeah. In terms of the gradient, it's not.
So Mon Espanol is much steeper.
Steeper, yeah.
But what I'm telling you, what we have observed is the distance of that hill.
Okay.
That will be going on, and you will wonder when it's going to stop. So the coach is dealing with that aspect. I try to leave the technical aspect for the coach. It's unfortunate we're not in the same area. Maybe he would have contributed nicely to this part of it. So we're really looking forward to tomorrow. And just to inform you that the juniors, it was held today. Again, Brazil won that category, and they did very well. And as I've always said, this cycling is a team sport. So you will find that sometimes you don't see it's always a group of people trying to make things happen. For the time trial, it's an individual. You're racing against time, but for the road races, you will see groups of 5 and 6 and 7. And these guys have a strategy, they will definitely be.
Bob is team, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Don't think these 7 guys, all of them role is to win. Some of them is to burn you out. Some of them is to distract you. Some of them is to let you think that they are the stronger person, and next thing you go after them.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a lot of strategy. So separate and apart from the road races that we have that is going on in the Pan American Championships in Brazil, one of my rules here too was to attend the Congress. Every year on an annual basis, there's a Congress, and our area fall on the Copachi. Copachi is really that side of the continent that, places like we fall within that, Trinidad, Jamaica, the OECS, Brazil, America, that side of the continent. So we attended a Congress, and we were graced with the president of the UCI addressing us and highlighting the importance of the sport of cycling and where we are and where we should be, and how we should ensure that we look at cycling in a holistic way. And it is really a good experience visiting these Congress. You get to meet other presidents from other countries. You get to dialogue. You get to know how to do the race better, the challenges that you face, the prices of the bags, the people that you meet. And it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. But more importantly, what I'm gathering from this is to make the sport better, to make the sport safer, and to integrate and to be part of the sport, to ensure that the integrity of the sport is maintained. And they're very serious about that. And when I speak of integrity, I'm talking about issues of doping and, trying to build that sport. Because I believe the number one, maybe Mr. Loblack can help me, but the number one sport I can assume would be football. Maybe I'm wrong, but we are number 3 and 4 in terms of the world sporting events. So the whole objective is to attend these events, get new ideas. And as I said, one of the good things that the association, that is the Dominica Cycling Association, was able to put together is a program that we submitted to our head office, our solidarity program, and we were able to get some things from the organization. That is, as I said before, we got 10 bikes. Some of it will mix with mountain bikes. We got the opportunity for our local mechanic, that is Mr. Desmond, who is also a trained technician, but is also the general secretary of the organization, to attend a course. That is the first stage, the mechanical course for cycling or for bicycles. So he will be attending a course that we got, and then of course coaching, and Levi Barron will be representing us, and a commercial course which I will be undertaking. And that is, we are happy about this. And we also got some funding for the grassroots level. While we do this, we still, we are so grateful for this, because now we are able to get 10 young people on a bike. We're able to improve on our grassroots program. As I said, the most important thing for us is to see more people on bikes, and to be able to understand that one of the benefits of cycling or sports in general is to see more persons benefiting from it. Because a lot of people feel cycling and they equate it with a race on the road. And that's not always the case. I think the objective is to be able to see more people on bikes, to see more people understanding that rather than walking from Do-It Center to the middle, rather than taking a vehicle from Do-It Center to Roseau, maybe you can hop on your bike. And even if you have your suit on, I mean, I travel all the different continents.
On a dry day.
On a dry day, yeah. And even if it's wet, it means it depends on what you're going to Roseau for.
Not your suit.
But the whole point remains is that it is a sport that everybody can get involved in, because it's not always about the race. It's about fitness. It's about understanding that our environment need, help too. And we as individuals must do whatever we can to assist the environment, so that we can have persons living longer lives, and so that
indeed. Ronald, I wanted to ask you a question though. In terms of, and let me just say congratulations to the Dominica Cycling Association for the tremendous work that you guys are doing. For tomorrow's race, I was wondering if there are any other of the Windward Islands competing as well, or is it?
That's a very good question. Of course, we have St. Lucia with us.
Mm-hmm.
We have Grenada with us. We have Anguilla is here. We have representatives from Antigua, yes. And of course, Trinidad. I believe, yes, we have some representatives from Trinidad. So we have a few persons from our region, or from the OEC, as one would say.
That's excellent. Ron, one other question from me. I was just thinking, I love looking at racing. I mean, Tour de France, the Cabana, the Spanish race as well. I look at all of those races. And one of the things I notice is that the riders usually have a lot of backup bikes.
Right.
Okay, so I was just curious, given that Baron is on his own, how does that work? Are you able to tap into the resources? Do they provide that general support to the
No,
bikers?
but that's one thing.
How does that work?
That's a very good question. As we all know, and that is where I want again to use this platform to say to say thank you. Sorry, maybe one could say congratulations too, but to say thank you to the Dominica Olympic Committee, because if it wasn't for the Dominica Olympic Committee, I don't think I would be in Brazil today. I don't think.
But that is your function, brother.
I understand that. But you see, even if you have a function to promote the sport and to do what you have to do as Olympic Committee, it is also nice to see they go the extra mile to especially for cycling, to be able to get us all what we need to be able to function. And I sometimes say, yes, one may be a conduit to do the objective of the Olympic solidarity movement, but nonetheless, one can decide to play a little blind eye to certain things if they wish to do so. Maybe you can complain, but whether or not the complaint reach far enough might not be strong enough. So I always say I appreciate the assistance that we've received from, especially again the president and the capacity officer, Ms. Tanya Burnett, who is also very, very effective in helping us when we're doing our.
So they've been able to assist you to help.
Yeah.
And
But let me get back to your question. The question remains whether or not he's able to. As we speak, he does not have an extra bike. All right. Because again, these bikes are not cheap. You're talking about 25,000, 30,000 EC dollars.
I know.
Yeah. All right. You have to ask yourself whether or not it might be advantageous to maybe buy him a car instead. But having said that, we don't have it. But what we have is that the coach, Mr. Levi Baron, will ensure that he have the spare tires. He'll ensure that we have a mechanic with us, while he's on the track. And let us just pray for the best. And that is how it is. We are hoping very soon that he will be able to have more than one bike to participate in this event. So the event when one bike has an issue, then you can take another one and proceed.
Ronald, question. The first question is this: the Pan Am Games right now, is it the criteria for qualifying for Paris, the Olympic Games?
That's well. Let us take the difference here. This is the Pan American Cycling Championships.
Cycling.
Yes, so it's specifically for cycling. In terms of the games itself, I believe that is normally held either after or before. I can't remember, and I do apologize.
But you have cycling at the Olympic Games. So how does one qualify for that?
Of course, and of course, a lot of countries, if you were to be successful here, this would aid in your representation in Paris. Of course, in the Olympic Games, obviously, the elite riders.
Junior riders. Yeah, and I guess it's the qualification, is the qualifying times, right?
Qualifying times.
Yeah, of course, you would be qualifying. But mark you, the way in which the UCI operates, we have categories. So, and categories are based on the levels. So, for example, you would have countries like Brazil, maybe
Argentina,
Spain, Italy. These places are considered, or these islands or countries are considered to be in category 1. Yeah, elite fellas. So there you have the qualifiers, and France could be part of that too. We fall within the 4th category, and that is areas like Dominica, St. Vincent, and again, all of that would have to do with facilities, the number of riders that you have, the level of the sponsorships, and the ability to get what we need to get these young people participating in it. The good thing is, for our juniors, the juniors across the globe, and I am not specifically referring to the Olympic Games that is going to be held in Paris, but I'm talking about the World Championships, the Cycling World Championships. We get a free pass for the juniors. So we are hoping that in September of this year,
To race well.
yes,
To race in what category?
In the junior category. In the
No,
junior
what race
category.
we are on the track or we are on the road?
On the road. It's a road race. We do
road
road
race.
race.
Are doing
Yeah.
road.
Yeah,
When
we
you
don't
say
do track or we don't do any other thing.
when
We
you
only
said
do the
world,
roads.
when you said world championship, referring to road
Cycling World Championships.
world. Okay.
Yeah, that would be held in September of 2024, and it will be held in Switzerland. All right.
Okay.
So we are hoping to be able to send our junior if he's available, and of course send Mr. Barron under 23 if he's available. We believe that these two guys can cause a little bit of stir despite our limited resources that we may have. So we're looking forward to it. This is something that I will be speaking to the Dominican Olympic Committee about, and hopefully we can have two representatives in the World Championships that will be held in September of 2024, which we are looking forward to.
Yes, Ron Charles, thank you very much for your valuable contribution. I wish to commend you unreservedly for the contribution you're making to cycling in Dominica. And we're seeing significant progress. We're seeing Mr. Barron.
But
I hope
I always
tomorrow. We know of Mr. Casimir. We're not hearing much about Mr. Casimir. So
Exams.
I believe Mr. Casimir is engaged in exams. And his manager and his father have made it fundamentally clear. This is his priority.
Obviously.
As soon as that is over, I am sure that Mr. Casimir Jr. will be on the road and he will be training, because there are a lot of competitions coming up, which I believe he will be engaging in, and we're looking forward to this. But what I must say too, whatever we do in the Dominica Cycling Association is a team effort. It has always been, and it will continue to be. And of course, I want to big up all the executive members.
Very good.
That goes way beyond the roll call.
But leadership is very important.
And Ron, also a very good question coming from the internet, from our listeners. We have several persons listening online. And here is a question for you. The question is, what about the introduction of bike lanes in Dominica? Is that something that your association is looking at?
But and that is a very, very good, I don't know. That is such a great question, because the thing is that I believe when we as a society and when we governing, I believe the most fundamental thing is to govern with a projection. You know, when Miss Charles built the roads for the farmers, she may have thought that we will never have 2 lanes. And therefore, when the roads were built, it was built with a certain dimension. Similarly, we are talking about development within this economy that we have. And we are developing, but we are not. Because these are some of the things that I believe we must take into consideration and really put an effort to ensure that the different aspects of life is kind of captured in our development. So persons should be able to walk from Roseau to Kenfield and back without having to be disturbed, or in any area in Dominica, and having that space to walk. So many people walk in the morning and sometimes they're scared. Yeah? They're very, very scared.
I agree with you.
I heard a lady said that, well, she bought her treadmill because the way, and I'll use it in local parlance, the way traffic people was in her, she not in that. She'll stay at home instead.
Ron Charles, how long are you going to be in Brazil for again? How long are you going to be in Brazil for again?
Sorry?
How long are you going to be in Brazil for again?
That's a very good question. I should be back in Dominica on or about the 28th, back in Dominica. And of course, when I'm back, I will be able to give a synopsis of what transpired.
Very good, very good. We look forward to that. We look forward.
Can we see the race online? And what time?
That's very much so. I believe you can go to the Pan American cycling championships. You Google
Okay.
that and most.
And then
more
we're
than
gonna
likely
give
you will
what
get
time?
some
What
time.
time is it starting tomorrow? What time
At
will
10
it be on
o'clock,
the
10
road?
o'clock in the
At 10
morning.
o'clock our time.
Yeah. 10 o'clock our time in Brazil. You realize I said our time in Brazil. So you might not see me again. That's it.
Okay, Ron Charles, thank you very much for your
Always
valuable
a pleasure.
contribution.
Thanks for the
And we look
opportunity.
forward
and God
next
bless.
week to a similar contribution. All
Thank
the
you.
best, brother.
God
Thanks,
bless
bro, and
you.
enjoy Brazil. Continue to enjoy.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful country.
Can we go to an advert now before we go to the next contributor?
When you want the best, what you do? Shop at SCS. Better than the rest. Go shop at SCS. And they all compare. Shop at SCS. You get more for what they say. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Yeah. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. What they say. Shop at SCS. SCS family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our prices, they are the nicest. Madam, that's where you belong. Oh, tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SCS. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SCS. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, open neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side. What? Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Shop at SCS. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and Downtown Rose.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
It's on its way. The United Workers' Party, Team Dominica, the Electoral Reform Coalition, is launching the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit 2024 under the theme Planning for Sustainable Growth and Development, taking place June 4th to the 6th at the Jungle Bay Resort and Spa. Soufriere is on its way.
Present will be key stakeholders, government officials, business leaders, and experts in various fields in Dominica to engage in creating a master plan to serve as a roadmap to Dominica's future development. Healthy talk, lively debate in agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, agribusiness, renewable energy, construction, and the blue and green economy. It's on its way June 4th to the 6th. You don't want to miss the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit, which will begin on June 4th, the 4th until the 6th, where 9 outstanding Dominicans will be honored and awarded at the grand opening dinner and award ceremony on Tuesday, 4th June, $250. This will be followed by Dominica Economic Revival Summit on Wednesday and Thursday, 5th and 6th, from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Secure dinner tickets in person with Mr. Nicholas George at 285-5585. Seats at this economic revival will be limited, so don't delay. Now it's time to restart, kickstart, and jumpstart Dominica's economy. Restore and rescue Dominica's economy.
Good night, sports fans. We value the quality of program we are presenting to you on Sports Wrap. And now we move to another component, which is football. And we invite Mr. Ebby Lawrence, the PRO of the Football Association, to bring us up to date with the local competition and also to inform us of the regional and foreign engagements that will be upcoming for Dominica. Good night, Mr. Ebby Lawrence.
Good night, Mr. Landa. Good night, Dr. Fountain. Good night to the listeners of 295.
Good night, Debbie.
Yeah, good night.
Bonsoir.
More bonsoir, man. Sagapet.
Voilà. I'm just trying your Creole.
Merci, bon Dieu. Merci, bon Dieu. Hey, Lobby, good night as well.
Yeah, it's yourself. I tell you, I was testing your Creole.
No. Well, you can test that part of it. It's strength. It's strong.
I like to hear that.
Oui, man. So this weekend, what should happen is this: all Premier games have been suspended because of the upcoming games with Guatemala and Jamaica. So the Premier games have been suspended. However, the first division will continue as we speak. On Friday, Botswana will come up against Fokoli United. That's at the Stockholm Training Center. On Saturday, we have Houthi Blazers coming up against North Stars at the Benjamin Park. We have the Police Sports Club coming up against South City. That's a new team in the first division. And that game is at the Stockholm Technical Center. We have Do It Center Mighty Avengers coming up against the Boys on Saturday. That is also at the Stockholm Technical Center at 4. Then TRFC coming up against DSFC. That is TRFC will be for Trafalgar FC coming up against DSFC out of Port Michelle. Again at the Stockholm Technical Center at 6:30 p.m. On Sunday, we have Sugar George, Wayne George Academy coming up against Kensborough at Stockfarm. Yeah, and we have Granviria FC coming up against Collio at Dubla. And St. Joseph coming up against Kalibishi. St. Joseph coming up against Marigot. That's a typo. At the Benjamin Park. So these are the games for the weekend first division. So as I've stated, the Premier games based on the training of the national team have been suspended. So that's where we are for the weekend. So presently, the young men are in camp. That's the West Indian national men's team. They are in camp getting ready for Guatemala. Their game will be played on the 5th. And basically, where we are with them, at the 25-member team has been selected. A short list will be given shortly, where the final 23 will be chosen. And we are gearing up for the big game on the 9th of June. That's where we are as well. And all work are in process. By tomorrow, the Lord's Prayer, all necessary advertisements and promos will be sent to the media houses to run for the rest of the week. That's where we are presently.
You keep on speaking about the Guatemala game. Are there two games, Guatemala and Jamaica?
Mm-hmm. Guatemala and Jamaica, yeah.
Both in Dominica?
No. We'll be playing Guatemala on the 5th.
In Guatemala.
At 10 p.m., but however, in local time, it will be 8 p.m. for us. So we'll be playing Guatemala 10 p.m. Guatemala time, but in Dominica, it will be 8 p.m.
Ebby, I'm glad Ron raised that because I was about to ask you, are there any concerns about the time and the spacing? Well, I know how difficult inter-island transportation is. And is there a worry? Because if the game is on the 5th, it means they will travel on the 6th, and then the game is on the 9th. Will they get there on the 6th? Back to Dominica?
No, 9th.
No. The game is on the 9th. I'm talking about the travel time. Will they be able to come from Guatemala and get back to have at least a 2 days rest in between? That's the question I was getting. That's what we're going to that.
It is anticipated that they would be home the Friday or the Thursday.
The Friday is the 7th.
Be in camp for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, regional transport, as we know, is somewhat tedious or a hassle for us, but nonetheless, things are put in order that they will not be left behind. So we pray God everything will work out as smoothly as it is, because we plan, but at the other end of it is God that always orchestrates the plan better.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned, given the fact that you're coming from Guatemala, and it's very short turnaround time. And
we are concerned as well, but nonetheless, we keep our fingers crossed, knowing that all will play out.
Okay. Question there. You said about camp. When they return to the Dominica, are they going straight into camp, or from the after the next day?
Presently, well, when they return from Guatemala, they will be in camp as well, because it will give a little time for them to go home, to even get anything done. So from Guatemala to his hotel or guest house as chosen.
Yes.
Yeah, they will play on Sunday, and from Sunday then we will take it from there again.
And the camp includes all your 6 overseas players, right?
Repeat yourself.
All the overseas, I think 6 or 7 overseas players, are they included in that camp that is starting?
Yes, they are all included, and
Okay.
well, there were some delays in regional airline transport coming in, but nonetheless they are making themselves available as we speak. Presently, the young men are in Portsmouth. They are in the leg of camp. They are doing a 2-week training program in Portsmouth on the 13th Portsmouth. And as the coach rightly wanted, because he is advocating for them to be training on the grass rather than the synthetic we have in Stockton, because the Guatemalan leg will be on the normal grass. And hopefully by next week, once the Windsor Park is properly set, we will see some of the training going on at the Windsor Park Stadium as well.
So matters are well in train for those 2 international games.
Yes, everything.
All right.
The I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. It's just a matter of executing properly. And wish our athletes well as they go up against, like I would say last night, and I repeated it, as they go up against the Goliaths. But nonetheless, we have formidable players that we are all looking forward to see them in play. We have all foreign-based players. Yes, one might say, well, they are not as professional as the others, but again, the football is played according to Infantino until the last whistle. So we keep our fingers crossed, and we're just asking the public on the 9th of June to support the men as much as possible. Regardless of the outcome, we want to show the world that we stand in solidarity with the athletes, and we want to create an atmosphere where not just the footballers will enjoy, but even the fans. So we can tell the public, rest assured, on the 9th of June, it will be a Dominican experience to remember. It's reggae meets bouillon on Sunday the 9th of June.
All right. Very, very good, Abby. We at Sports Wrap, we encourage people to come to participate, but in a very physical way. We're going to contribute to the participation. Tonight, we're going to run a short quiz. We'll be giving complimentary tickets. And next week, Vivian Rene has decided to also have a quiz where we'll be giving certain jerseys and other things from his sports center.
Excellent. And we appreciate
that. Yes, Sports Shop is contributing 5 tickets to our very loyal fans out there who continue to listen every single Thursday. But Abby, just before we go to the quiz, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Can we expect the home game for Guatemala here in Dominica? Is that been planned?
Well, we are hoping. That is in the President's purview, together with the General Secretary. We haven't spoken yet as the executive concerning that, but that is in the President's purview. As soon as the information is made available, rest assured the public will be informed as to where we are with the next leg of football.
Thank you very much, Abby. We're now going to the quiz. We go to first dimension, the quiz tonight. We also have an insert from your coach. Your coach made a submission, so we're going to use that insert. But we're going to stay.
That is welcome.
We're going to stay in contact with you with not only the quiz tonight, but also next week with the Delna Jace promotional program. Vivian Rene, who used to be a coach, a national coach, has decided to make a contribution to the development of football in Dominica.
Lovely.
Thank you very much, Abby.
You are welcome.
All right.
Yes, Landa.
I'm talking with Ellington Sabin, head coach at the DFA. The 25-man squad, Mr. Sabin, has been selected and has been published by the DFA. A lot of football fans in Dominica are excited by the lineup. But what's your view in terms of all the players selected?
Well, the players selected from a 14-man squad we originally had. Those players have to be further cut down because we only traveled with a 22-man squad, and just like all the other players, even though they were cut last night, they are full of talent and excited to represent the country.
Wow. We saw that there are 6 foreign-based players. Do you expect them to, of course, add that extra strength needed to possibly secure some wins then?
So yeah, the 6 foreign-based selected are no strangers to the Dominican Republic, and they are expected to add quality to the quality that already exists with the local players and to represent the country well in the upcoming 2 games.
Okay, fantastic. Any feedback, from fans, football fans across Dominica since this information was published?
Yeah, we have some feedback, like everything else. You don't please everyone, so some of the feedback positive, some negative, but I always say a positive spin on everything. From the negative statements, I still some positives. At the end of the day, we're representing the country. You can't please everyone. You will never please everyone. So just the players to go out and put on a fight for the country and hopefully bring home the 2 victories.
Well, a lot of people from my end have been saying that they expect some wins from the senior men's national football team, 25-man squad there. He said sometime before that the games will be played in June, will be played in Guatemala and in Dominica, the Windsor Park Sports Stadium against Jamaica. Tell us a bit about what's expected between Dominica and Jamaica sometime in June.
Well, we'll have the 12th man in our favor because we'll win a home game in front of our fans, and that generally propels the team and gives any home team that advantage. So we hoping that the fans come out in the numbers to support the squad in Dominica, and we can put on a great performance and bring home the 3 points. Traveling to Guatemala is going to be a few days before that because the Guatemala game is on the Wednesday before the Sunday Jamaica game. So itself is going to be kind of hectic, but we're putting the guys through the motion and getting them accustomed to those conditions. And the reason for the 2-week camp that starts today and goes right through until after the 2 games. And the camp we have put them through these conditions where they play games frequently and put them under some pressure so that when the time comes to deliver the real game, that they can do that with very little stress.
Well, Mr. Ellington Sabin, as usual, it's a pleasure talking to you. You've been doing a fantastic job with the national team, and I can assure you we'll be in touch with you again.
All right, thank you very much.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting weekly sports show on Q95.
Richie Farrell of Q95 for doing such a very informative interview with Coach Sabin. We now want to go on to the quiz section, and I'll ask Mr. Thompson Fontaine to take the lead in that area.
All right. So listeners, we certainly wanted to give back to you. You've been so faithful to us, and 5 lucky fans that are listening tonight will be going away with tickets. Already the lines are lighting up. So let's do this. Let us take the caller and then ask the question. Is that, or do you want me to ask the question and have them call in?
Let's see if the caller is here. If the caller is here, let's go.
See. Caller, are you up for a question?
I can answer. I want a ticket.
Oh, okay, great. All right. Are you ready?
Let me see if I can answer.
All right, great. So the very first question, you know that Dominica is in the 2020, in this current World Cup 2024, Dominica is grouped with Guatemala and Jamaica. Now in the 2014 World Cup, Dominica was in a group that included a couple countries from Central and Latin America. One of those countries was Panama. What was the other country?
Trinidad?
No, not Trinidad.
No. One more shot, Luvinia. One more shot.
Venezuela?
No, it's not Venezuela. All right. So you can try again. That's just the first question. But let's open up so others can call in All right. The question again is, in the 2014 World Cup, Dominica was paired with a couple of countries. One of them was Panama. We want at least one of the other two countries that Dominica was also in that group, in the qualifying group for CONCACAF. So that's the question for tonight. That's our first question. We have several questions for you, but we encourage you to call. Lambi, let's give our callers the numbers again.
The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. Those are all local numbers. And the overseas number, 305-432-9624.
Okay, we have a caller. All right. Okay, callers, please. It's not a difficult one. That's the 2014 World Cup. Let's see, those of you who follow Dominica football very, very closely. 2014, Dominica did very well as well and got a very interesting group. So let's go to the telephones. And good night, caller. Caller, go ahead, please. Caller, go ahead, please. Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Is it Guatemala?
No, it was not Guatemala. We were playing Guatemala for the very first time this time around. But in 2014, which country was Dominica paired with? Caller, good evening. Go ahead, please. Which?
Good evening, Thompson.
Yes,
I
good
ain't calling for no ticket, you know. I want to talk to Mr. Landa because I hear him always talking about high quality level of sports rap. And to me, sports rap is missing the main ingredients to bring that high quality level he always talk about, and that is Mr. Ozzy Louis. Because with the honorable,
okay, caller, caller, thanks.
He knows the history.
Yes, yes.
The history of our sports in Dominica. So I would just like to say, I don't know when are they going to bring him back, what the situation is. But without his voice, I don't think sports rap could ever be the same. So we need that high quality level of programming from sports rap with Mr. Ozzy Louis.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Landa, I don't know how you're going to do it, but
thank you very much.
The main ingredients.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Let's go back to the telephones with your calls. Callers wanting to get this ticket for the World Cup game. Yes, good afternoon, good evening. Yes, hi, good afternoon. Yes, you have an answer for us, yeah? Yeah, caller, you're listening to your radio. Yeah, listen to my voice. Yes, go ahead, please. You're live here on Sports Rap.
What am I talking about?
Caller, go ahead, please.
Another.
Caller, yes. She's listening to the radio. All right, all of the lines are going. Good evening, caller.
I think another chance. El Salvador.
No, not El Salvador. getting warmer. All right, let's go back to the telephones. Good evening, caller. You are on live. Caller, go ahead, please.
Honduras.
No, not Honduras. Okay. Interesting. I thought we had some very keen sports fans following Dominican football.
I know, they don't.
Yes. Good afternoon. I thought it's sorry, not Santo Domingo. You know, I thought this was a very easy question. Because 2014 was just 10 years ago, and you know, yes. Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, yes. Repeat the question again, Amir.
Okay, the question is: Dominica was drawn in Group B in the 2014 World Cup qualifiers with 3 other countries. One of them was the Bahamas. There were 2 other countries that you would like to know which were the other 2 countries, or one of the 2. You don't have to give us both, but one of the 2 other countries.
Belize?
No, it was not Belize. Good try, but not Belize. Yeah. All right, we are going to take one more call on this, and then we'll go to another question, and then we can come back to this one. Yes, caller, go ahead, please. Which of the... yes.
Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
All right, it is not Santo Domingo, it's not the Dominican Republic, so we are going to go to another question.
Yes. Let me put forward the next question. The Popam tournament was a Windward Islands football competition, a tournament that used to take place in the 70s and 80s. In what year did Dominica win its first POPAM tournament? And who was the captain?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it Panama and Nicaragua?
All right, that's correct for the previous question. All right, caller, we've won. It is Panama and Nicaragua. So it was Dominica, Bahamas, Panama, and Nicaragua in Group B in the 2014 qualifiers. Caller, can we get your contact information so we can make sure you get your ticket for the game? 614-2020. Okay, we'll be in contact with you to tell you how you can collect your ticket for the game on the 9th. All right, so we have one winner there already. All right, to the second question. Thank you very much, caller.
Second question, I'll repeat again. In what year did Dominica win its first POPAM tournament? And who was the captain?
Hello?
Go ahead.
1970. 1970.
You're very close. You're very close. I'll give you a second shot.
And the captain was Joseph.
You're very close to the year. You're correct with the captain, but you're very close to the year. So I'm giving you a second shot on the year.
71.
Very good. 1971. That's the year we won the first POPAM. Lobby was in the park looking at that game with Expensive, Vivian Rene, Joe Forstin.
But not only that, listen, Mayor's Academy, we gave we played 5 practice games with the national team.
Can we just get the number, the person's contact number? Hello, sir. Can you give us your contact number?
265-2947.
2947. All right, we'll contact you, and you can give us a name if you feel comfortable. But if not, we'll call this number and tell you how to collect your ticket for the game on the 9th, Dominica versus Jamaica.
Thank you.
And thank you for participating. We appreciate it.
Thompson, Lobby, let's just do one more question because we've got 2 other persons we want to get involved. So we've got 2 other programs before the June 9th,
yes,
when we play against Jamaica. Right. So we'll use these 2 other programs to continue doing the quiz and to also involve the quiz by Delnagis. Delnagis wants to make a contribution because we want to encourage our people to participate, to contribute to the sports in Dominica. That's the only way we're going to help our young people, by participating and supporting our sporting program. Be it basketball, be it football, be it cricket. Now we're focusing on football. So let's deal with the third question. We got 2 other persons we need the contributions from tonight. So in the other programs, we'll continue running the quiz and also the Delnagis program.
Okay, we're going to make this one very, very easy so that anybody can win it. All right. So the first caller, I'm sure you'll get this one. Let's go back to the game on June 19th when Dominica, for the very first time, Dominica played against Mexico. Dominica played against Mexico. 2 questions. Who was the coach of that Dominica team? And what was the scoreline? Dominica played Mexico in San Antonio, Texas. What was the scoreline in that game? And who was the coach of that very famous Dominica team of 2006? Yes, caller, go ahead, please. Very easy one.
Are you still on the question about the year Dominica won the?
No, we got a winner. We got a winner for this one already. We got a winner.
What's the question now?
The question, this one is, what was the scoreline when Dominica played Mexico in San Antonio in 2006? And who was Dominica's coach, football coach?
Okay, I pass.
You pass on that one. All right. Okay, let's take one other caller because we are running out of time very, very quickly. Yes, good evening, caller.
Clifford Seller.
Okay, that was not Clifford Seller, no. No, it was not. You want to try one more?
Try one more time, Muko.
Yeah, Coco Show?
No, Coco Show.
No.
The coach.
Oh, the coach.
The coach,
I
yes.
okay.
The coach.
Okay. Let somebody else take a chance.
All right. All right. Okay, so what we'll do, let's transfer that to the next time then.
Yes, we'll continue because we've got
time.
time.
We'll have more questions for you. So
we've got with us Israel Fontaine of the Kalinago Cricket League. He's going to update us on the league and to give us any additional information pertaining to the Kalinago Cricket League. Once again, this is not a very important sporting program, a sporting program that we need to support. We need to take a drive and go into the Kalinago territory to support the cricket, because the Kalinagos recently have produced some high-quality players. Hodge, Benjamin, and Tyson playing for the Windwards. And we've got young Fontaine, who is showing tremendous potential. So let us give the Kalinago Cricket League optimal support. Mr. Fontaine, good night, sir.
Good evening to you, and good evening to all the listeners of Sports Rap. Good evening to you, Mr. Low Black and Mr. Fontaine at the other end, and you, Mr. Landa, you and your team, you guys are doing a very good job. And we want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to talk KPL. KPL, we call it the biggest, better, most well-organized cricket league in Dominica.
What's the initial?
KPL, the KPL.
Oh, KPL, okay.
Premier League.
It's the Kalinago Premier League. We are into our eighth edition. And as I always say, KPL is not just cricket. KPL is tourism. KPL is an opportunity for socializing. KPL is an opportunity for family outing. KPL is it's fun. You come to KPL and you must have fun. Something funny must happen. Some funny jokes must go on. And you must enjoy yourself when you come to KPL. You will meet new friends. You will meet old friends, and you will make new friends. And so that is why we encourage the entire island to come to Jolly John on Saturdays and Sundays. We have 2 matches on Saturdays and 2 matches on Sundays. So 4 matches for the weekend. It's a 20 overs a side game. It's full of excitement. And you will not regret coming to the Kalinago territory and Jolly John at that for Kalinago Premier League action. But last weekend we had 4 matches, and the weekend started off with the Bombers, former champions, the Bombers coming up against the Power Punchers. The Power Punchers, they batted first. They were bowled out for only 59 runs. One batsman, that is S. Timothy, got 24, and Kaskimani Henry, he got 10. But bowling for the Power Punchers were
Hello.
Bowling for the Power Punchers, we had Ray Kazimi taking 4 wickets for 7 runs. And K. James took 2 wickets for 8 runs. They were the main destroyers for the Bombers team. Bombers in reply, they practically coast to victory. Aiden Burton got 10, and they got 23 from Ray Kazimi as well. And they won that match very, very easily or convincingly. They won that match by
Mr. Fontaine, that is Ray Kazimi, who made West Indies under 19 and is now a sports officer.
Yes, he plays in the KPL. And you mentioned a number of players of note on the national scene right now that plays in the KPL. Most of the national players play in the KPL, and even the West Indian player, Afanas, play quite a bit of cricket in the KPL before he move on to bigger things. So the Bombers won that match quite easily, and only one bowler, that's F. Paris, took 2 wickets for the Power Punchers. In the second game on Saturday, that was between the Seneco Red Force and the Bataka Underminers, who are the defending champions, and they are really struggling. Batting first, the Underminers scored 166 for 9 in their allotted 20 overs. We had three good scores on array from a national youth cricketer. He scored 51 from 36 coming back from a major accident that he had about 2 years ago. Then we had Etienne, that's Abisha Etienne, who is from Penville but lives in the Kalinago territory. He chipped in 36, and K. Laura also scored 33 in that 166 for 9 in the 20 overs. Bowling for the Seneco Red Force, we had R. Williams taking 2 for 18 and Dylan John taking 2 for 26, and S. Brumant taking 2 for 19. In reply, the Seneco Red Force, they were skittled out for 111 runs all out. B. Sanford scored 24. I. Frederick scored 15. The main destroyer for the Underminers was Abisha Etienne with 3 for 24, and D. Paris, he took 3 wickets for 35 runs. That was in the Saturday matches. So we had a win for the Underminers, and we also had a win for the Bombers. On Sunday, that match was a very, very, very interesting match. That match was played between the AP Spartan and the GM Strikers. Batting first, the AP Spartans found themselves in all sorts of trouble, and they were struggling on 27 for 7. And there was a big partnership between R. George and M. Frederick. M. Frederick getting 68, R. George getting 58, and they were able to reach 157 all out, which was enough for them to defend. Bowling for the GM Strikers, we had D. Alexander taking 6 wickets for 13 runs in his allotted 4 overs, and they went on. They won the match by the Underminers won that match by 20 runs. In the afternoon was a very, very interesting encounter between G and Benjamin side and the Concord Super Kings. That one was what we referred to the Clash of the Kings. It was the PR Fund, so the Point Ridge Thunder Kings up against the Concord Super Kings. So we call it the Battle of the Kings. G and Benjamin won the toss. They decided to bat. They posted 205 for 2. G and Benjamin scored the 4th century of the competition to date. He scored 105 or 68 deliveries with 12 fours and 6 sixes. Kazimi Benjamin also chipped in with 45, and Michael Joseph 34. Well, there wasn't much fanciness about the bowling figures for the opponents, but we had 1 wicket going to J. Baptist and the other one going to D. August. In reply, Concord at the beginning started challenging the score, but then when the Thunder Kings strike, Concord just started going downhill. And at the end of it all, the man that brought into real entertainment and fun to the crowd was an unknown cricketer. He's not known to be a cricketer per se. He's a bus driver by profession, and Alex Laurent really set the crowd on fire with a quick fire 33 from 28 balls with 2 magnificent square cut. It was in the days of Brian Lara and Gordon Greenidge and these guys. I see those sort of square cut. But the crowd at Jolly John was treated with 2 magnificent square drive by Alex Laura on Sunday to really bring the crowd alive. But they could not challenge the score of 200 and the 205. They were all out for 132 bowling for the Point Ridge Thunder Kings. 3 wickets went to Fabian Benjamin, and 2 wickets also went to E. Burton and 2 wickets to Bogart Green. And basically that's a summary of the matches for the weekend, for the last weekend. Let me quickly pull up I'm having some little technical issues with computer, so I have to be switching between computer and phone to be able to get the stats for you properly. This weekend, the 4 matches on this weekend, Saturday 25th, the Central Centipede will be up against the Underminers. Underminers, the defending champions, have had a bad start to the competition and are struggling, but they won last weekend. The Spartans will be up against the Power Punchers. That's on Saturday, and on Sunday, the Red Force will be up against the Concord Super Kings, and the PR Thunder Kings, that's GN Benjamin team, they will be up against the GM Strikers. These are the matches.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fontaine. Thank you very much for this comprehensive summary of the past games and the upcoming games. And we encourage people from all over Dominica to go out to the Caribbean, to the Kalinago territory, and look at the Kalinago Premier League. And you hear some of the names of the players that are playing there. These are top quality Dominican players. So let us all go out and support the Kalinago Premier League. Thank you very much, sir, and we'll engage you next week.
Before we leave, most of these players are using the Kalinago Premier League or the KPL to get ready for the upcoming T10 and also the upcoming President's Cup, which will be a 50 overs competition. With note, I didn't mention this, Gillan Tyson also picked up a 5-wicket haul for his team, the AP Spartans, in their match over the weekend.
Very good, very good. This is a very talented fella. He's a fast bowler, and he's got the size of a fast bowler. And we expect a lot from him in the future. Thank you very much, Mr. Fontaine.
You're welcome, and a pleasant good evening to all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So can we just have a brief advert first to go to our last contributor, Mr. Clement Mercier?
When you want it there, you do. Better than the red. You get more fun than this. Yes. Yes, family. With locations to Virginia, and our prices. Tell your mama, tell your papa. Girlfriend, boyfriend side. What? Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Shop at SES. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Roosevelt.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
It's on its way. The United Workers' Party, Team Dominica, the Electoral Reform Coalition, is launching the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit 2024 under the theme Planning for Sustainable Growth and Development, taking place June 4th to the 6th at the Jungle Bay Resort and Spa. Sufria is on its way.
Present will be key stakeholders, government officials, business leaders, and experts in various fields in Dominica to engage in creating a master plan to serve as a roadmap to Dominica's future development. Healthy talk, lively debate in agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, agribusiness, renewable energy, construction, and the blue and green economy is on its way June 4th to the 6th. You don't want to miss the first Dominica Economic Revival Summit, which will begin on June 4th, the 4th until the 6th, where 9 outstanding Dominicans will be honored and awarded at the grand opening dinner and award ceremony on Tuesday, 4th June, $250. This will be followed by Dominica Economic Revival Summit on Wednesday and Thursday, 5th and 6th, from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Secure dinner tickets in person with Mr. Nicholas George at 285-5585. Seats at this economic revival will be limited, so don't delay. Now it's time to restart, kickstart, and jumpstart Dominica's economy. Restore and rescue Dominica's economy.
Good night, listeners. Good night, listeners. We come to the last component of our program. We have with us now the president of the Dominica Cricket Association, Mr. Clement Masley, who is going to give us an update on the upcoming domestic leagues, and also will tell us something about the Windward Islands Cricket Board focus on youth development. If we've got some time, we'll speak about the T20 competition coming up in the Caribbean very soon. Mr. Masley, good night, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Ronald. Good evening, Dr. Fontaine. Good evening, Lambie. Good evening to the listeners of Q95 and listeners here and abroad. It's always a pleasure being here. I just want to take this moment to really reach out to the board of the Dominica Cricket Association, who we had to basically cut our meeting a little shorter today this evening so that I could be here. I just also want to say good evening to the members of the cricketing fraternity and well-wishers of the sport, the fans, even the service providers. We just want to say heartfelt thank you for those who have been supporting us, and we're looking forward to greater things to come. As you rightly said, this year it has been a very busy cricketing calendar for us, and we are moving right on from having our Intermediates Division League into our Dream 11 signature tournament, which is headline sponsored by Dream 11 and Platinum sponsored by Joseph and Gabriel. And also we have many other local sponsors, and not forgetting TIG, who's Trading International Group. We have so many other sponsors that have come on and really made this a very lovely family event, which is normally held in the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. This year, the tournament continues. It is our 5th edition, and it will run from the 23rd of June to the 6th of July. And we're looking forward to, really having a good spectacle. Once we are blessed with good weather, I am sure that many Dominicans would come in, make the time, and come and support the games and really help us in creating that passion for cricket, driving back our youth into the excitement and the passion that West Indies cricket is known for, and also really helping us in our developmental thrust in ensuring that the revenue that we generate is going back into the grassroots cricket, because without the grassroots, then I can't say we would be doing anything sustainable. And that is where the effort is. And we're constantly reminded that our cricket is as strong as our grassroots program. So once we continue in that vein, I'm sure that we could see that resurgence of our cricket, especially West Indies cricket, and making a good account for ourselves as Dominica. And that is what our goal is at the Dominica Cricket Association.
Tell us a little bit more about the Dream 11 T10 and the regional players that will be involved in that particular competition. because we would want to tell Dominicans that is another very good means of entertainment. T10, you go in there and you entertain yourself. You see some good cricket in 10 overs. So we encourage you to go out in there, and the president is going to tell us a little bit more about the players involved and everything surrounding that particular competition.
Well, what we have opened up our league for is having as many. Well, each team has the allotment. This time they had the choice of choosing 3 overseas based players. Not in previous edition it was 2. So if, for example, you want a leg spinner or a wrist spinner, right? Then you have the choice. If there's not that depth in Dominica, right? You are able to reach out to your regional counterparts, especially within the Windward Islands. What I have seen is Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Those players are eager to come to play in Dominica. Why? The Dominican crowd is always welcoming. Dominica offers something that everybody is longing for: that peace, that tranquility, that love, that warmth, that comfort, that pleasantness of its people. And 2, the cricket is very competitive. I think arguably within the Windward Islands, we have a depth that is very, very competitive. By that meaning, our players are able to give you a great challenge at any instance. So they look forward for that rivalry. They look forward for that mingling with the players. But most of all, they want to come to Dominica for that.
What about the funding of those regional players?
The funding of the regional players, we take care of them. For example, the first 2, the teams, Dominica Cricket Association would fly you across, right? And then your team would take care of you throughout the franchise. And they would get paid, and everything would go as planned, right? But and that's a very good point that you bring in. We have had teams where they are private sector companies that really decide to sponsor and take care of the players. We can't pay them in comparison to the CPLs and everything. It's not as that, but the players keep coming because of the overall experience that they have received. For example, Rakim Cornwall, and that was when I realized that Rakim, apart from being a hard hitter and being discussed in other circles for other things, Rakim is somebody I have utmost respect for. Rakim, in the last edition that he was here, he had a more lucrative contract, and he decided, no, if you all are doing something very good in Dominica, and that is how I can contribute towards the effort, I'll give you my word that I'll be there. And he showed up. And it's what we offering is not within 10% of what he would have made. And I really looked at him and respected him a little more for that. So here it is that we're doing a product that yes, thankfully Dream 11 is sponsoring everything, and we are grateful for that. But we are doing a product that not only markets the cricket, it markets our island, it markets the skills that our people have, and it pushes, open up avenues for even others to come in, even if they're contributing, but to highlight themselves. So we're in the inception, we looked at it as, and we did that within COVID. Yeah, the first one, we had to write up the policies that when we were proposing to government that we wanted to have that league within COVID. Remember, everybody was within the quarantine restrictions and everything. And then we decided through a discussion, hey, but if we're doing all of this work, why not make it something about Dominica? That's why you see on every uniform, we have the Dominican logo, because Dominica was just going through that rebranding process. The teams are named after scenic spots on the island or tourist attraction sites, right? So you have the Indian River Rowers, and that name will come to mind immediately, because that was the first team I played on. And not only that, when we were naming it, I was quite instrumental in changing the overall name, and that name stands. So I remember that one. Also the Tito Gosh Splashers, we have the Sunrisers, we have the Sari Sunrisers, we have the Barana Ote Warriors, right? So we have 6 franchise teams which are named after those critical sports where we expect the tourists to go with. But somebody in India looking at that automatically knows, well, this is one area I could visit. So we had the opportunity of one of the key players from Dream 11 visiting the island, and not only wanting to go there, right? But his son was intrigued with Sari Sunrisers, and he wants the uniform. So he said, can I buy a shirt for my son? Because guess what? It is bragging rights in school. So going to an Indian school with a Sari Sunrisers jersey, you are like the big boy for the day. So, and all the children were like, how did you get that? So in those little ways, those creative ways, you see how the cricket, yes, it is a locally run league, but you see how it opens up new avenues for us and linking different cultures, linking different people, and creating opportunities for advancement.
So when does the league start, and how long does it run?
It runs for 2 weeks. So
For 2 weeks.
It starts on the 23rd, and ends on the 6th.
So it will be every day. At what time?
Every day. The game starts at midday. There are 2 games every day. Right, 2 games every day. One starts at 12. One starts at 2:30.
So it looks like in the not too distant future we've got to do a feature on Dream 11 T10 to give it its optimal promotion, because this sports tourism at its best, entertainment at its best. Okay, so we'll create that platform where you or your PRO or somebody can come to Sports Wrap and to promote the Dream 11 T10.
That would be welcome, and I'm sure that you could also help us running the ads that we have once we get to the phase where we really have to go full on in the promotion and marketing of the tournament.
Yes. Time is a little bit of essence with the mass layer.
Yes.
So the other area we wanted to touch on for us is the Windward Islands Cricket Board focus on youth development.
Yes. Well, I think
are you the president of the Windward Board?
Vice president.
And on the West Indies board.
Yes.
Cricket West Indies.
You're
also the vice president?
No. I'm just a director.
Okay.
The director. All right. What we have seen at Windward is that, one, there was not an under 16 category for women's cricket, right? But as part of West Indies' strategic outlook towards 2027, what we want to build in is that parity in pay and opportunity between the male and the female. Right now, the male is the one who drives the revenue, the male form of cricket. And if you look at where the world is going, women's cricket is quickly developing as well. So as part of our strategy is that to get the women playing much more cricket. And how are you going to do that? You're going to have to lower the age at which they are exposed to cricket. So you want girls from age 6, 7 starting to play cricket, but you are also going to get the experience through competitions, right? So in the absence, what we have is an under 19 women's tournament, right? So we saw it fit in the Windward to bring that down a little lower and get girls who have played throughout, who play in school, will now be involved in an under 16 tournament, right? And we're looking forward with the view that deals from the under 16 will translate to more experience at the under 19 and further afield. So that is one of the areas that we're looking forward to. Likewise, also in the strategic outlook of creating more opportunities for younger people for the sport of cricket, we decided to have an under 13 tournament that would take place in Grenada between the Windward Islands and Trinidad. Right, Trinidad has a greater depth of cricketers, so we've seen that need to ensure that our young cricketers are exposed to different environments. They get the opportunity to play. It creates that love and that passion that we all want to see in West Indies cricket. So the earlier that they are able to go on those tours, they are able to mingle with people from different cultures, different backgrounds. You are able to gain from the experience because you would know that certain players would be raising different conditions, and they need to be socialized in a manner which would help them, and as opposed for their upbringing being a limitation towards where they can where they could reach in life. So we are looking forward to putting that program in place. It should run in the summer of this year, and return visit to Trinidad in 2025. Likewise, there's also that gap we needed to bridge, where players who have made it throughout the age groups, especially the male players who have made it throughout the age groups, when they get to under 19, if they don't get into a professional setup, then they normally fall through the cracks. What we're trying to do, and that is a very critical age to fall out. What we see the need for placing an under 23 program, in that those players will now fall. That would be the safety net for those players, because we bearing in mind, not every player will peak at the same age. Some will be later, some will be earlier, but you need to capture the talent in there, right? And I was speaking to Desmond Haynes recently, and he was saying, do you know that I was the last person that they picked for my under 19 in that year? And I played Test cricket before all the others that were picked ahead of me. So we were having that discussion. He says, what you all are trying to do is noteworthy, and it's very important, because you have to understand that not all players become at their peak at that particular time that they're looking at. So we may be well overlooking some of the, or may have overlooked some of the Brian Laras already, because a player at 23 may not have the opportunity, and he could have gone on. So what we're trying to do is to organize programs in that, but there is the limitation of cost. So what we at the Windward Islands Cricket Board decided is that Carriacou is in between Grenada and St. Vincent. Using a vessel would be cheaper. So Grenada will play St. Vincent and Carriacou. Dominica and St. Lucia are like twins. They would play either in Dominica or in St. Lucia, because the ferry offers that cost benefit for us. If we have to fly, normally when we fly our teams to Grenada or St. Vincent, South Windwards, right, that would be up in the region of $32,000. Plus you would have tournament fees. So for a tournament where DCA has to depend on Dream 11 and other sources and the sponsors, and that is why I wanted to specifically point that out this evening, so that the sponsors know how much we really, really appreciate their contributions to the sport. Because apart from that, we would be struggling to send our players out, and we have to raise that money to send our players out, because we have to play the airfares, we have to pay tournament fees, and make sure that they are comfortable, incidental, pay our coaches a stipend, pay our managers stipend. And you have those tournaments happening throughout the year. And I just want to really thank those who have found it fit to join on to the Dream 11 project, which really helps us to remain buoyant as an association. Apart from that, it would be very, very difficult days for us. And I am ever so grateful for the team that we have right now at DCA, who really sees the worth of their commitment, because we are acting in the development of the lives of ordinary people, development of the lives of our young people, and giving them that opportunity to go out and not just excel for themselves, but represent our country and speak well.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah. You are underscoring the importance of strategic planning.
Yeah.
Let us plan. Let's look down the road, and we would like to be in 5 years' time. We want to be in 10 years' time, and this is very, very important. However, our time has expired. We appreciate your contribution, your high quality, for my friend who called, your high quality presentation, and we want to maintain a high quality program. Sports Wrap, a high quality program. We saw the presenters that we had tonight. Our final presenter is a high quality presenter, and we want to maintain that quality of output for Sports Wrap. Thank you very much, Mr. Master.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, and I just want to say good night to everybody, and always a pleasure being here. And I look forward at any time you call, and I'm available.
Yes. I know that you're a very busy person. Yes. Lobby, any closing comments?
Nah, time is up now, man.
Lobby, all is well?
Because, listen to me. The thing is that, Mr. Maz, and you spoke about Brian Lara. Yo, I don't know. You're talking about a batsman. What about the bowlers? Have we heard anything about what we're going to do with fast bowlers? We need bowlers, you know. To win
Yes,
any game, you need bowlers, not only
that's true.
batsmen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Ah,
I said that's true, but we can take up that discussion any other time.
okay. Think of
Okay.
it. Think of it. Yeah, yeah. What's happening?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to our listeners. We know that we have not recognized you for a while. We trust in the not too distant future, we'll put some time aside to recognize all our supporters of Sports Wrap. Good evening, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.